The ministry that I'm currently in is I'm a chaplain, a hospice chaplain, and I work for a local community hospital in the Chicagoland area where I reside. And I'm in their home health and hospice, but I primarily just deal with the hospice patients. And it is the most profound ministry I've been in. And prior to my working with the hospital, I was in a nursing home for a few years as well, in the same role as a chaplain, not necessarily hospice, although I did have some hospice patients. But currently, it's just a blessing and a privilege to walk with, to journey with, not only the individual that's dying, but the family as well. And in some instances, the family winds up needing me a little bit more than the patient, so to say. I usually don't always like the term patient, but that's the technical term. And it appears to just be something that I am gifted to, or gifted for, and called to at this present time in my life, and something that I enjoy. Most people will say, oh gosh, that has to be so depressing, and honestly it's not. It's the experiences that I have and what I am able to witness as a person is kind of going from this life form to the next realm is the most profound thing. And honestly, I think that if everyone could, for just a month, sit with people that are dying, I think our worldviews, I think our whole idea of things would just drastically change. And all of these little petty things that we complain about, everything would take on a whole new meaning. And you realize in that very moment when they're transferring from this life to the next realm that all of this craziness that we experience here, none of it matters anymore. And it really is a profound, profound experience to walk with them and to love them and hold them in those moments, and to be as merciful as I can humanly be as I'm praying to God for God to give them the mercy that they so deserve at that time, especially when they're suffering so greatly. And I think the justice aspect for me is really, I'm dealing with one of the most vulnerable people in society next to children. And so it's really being an advocate as well. And when I perhaps see something that does not seem right, or they don't have the ability to speak for themselves, I take that upon myself that I need to be that person's advocate, and I need to, for their sake and for their well-being, fight for their justice as much as I can, with perhaps as limited control that I may have at times. So I think it's all intertwined, love, mercy, and justice within that ministry. But it's the most profound ministry. And how I was called to it, I don't quite know. But it is something that I do believe I'm gifted for, and I thoroughly enjoy. And it's just a blessing to be able to kind of take their hands, and then there comes a point where you kind of have to take their hand and go like this and say, okay, it's your turn, you do the rest, and just watch them kind of enter their new life. It's beautiful.